Hi, you're watching the Ronnie Ciago Show, and my guest this week is my longtime friend, Byron Fry. Byron,
dude,
it's been so long. We've been friends for
long time.
Let's just say a long time.
1990.
1990, and we met through our mutual friend, my longtime friend, bass player extraordinaire, John Pena.
Yep.
When I came out from Florida, I moved in with John and Terry for a couple of weeks. So I found a place over in Glendale in California. John was doing some sessions in his studio right in the back of his house. I didn't know anybody. I just came into town, right? So John says, I want you to meet my friend Byron Fry. And you were doing a recording with John in John's studio, right?
Yeah.
Well, what was that?
I don't remember.
Terry was singing
I
on
think
it?
Terry was singing, and I don't know
were you
what
in a
it was.
band with Terry at one sometime?
Not on a regular basis.
Okay, but you were playing with her, right?
Yeah, we did a recording project together. Mostly the work with John and Terry, at their place.
I see. So, I mean, after that, like, it was my first week or so in town in LA. I didn't know anybody. We met. It was a magical, we'll be friends a long time kind of thing.
Yeah. We played the baked potato with my fusion band a bunch of times. I had you in that. We did that virtuoso edutainment thing with Remo Packer. That was with John Pena.
That's right.
And David Garfield and me. It was just 4-piece, right? Do we have Richie? Richie was on percussion, right? Richie Garcia.
Percussion.
5-piece.
And I played drums. David Garfield on keyboards.
Yeah. We did like fusion hits here and there around the valley, like over the years.
Then I think Frank Stallone.
That's right. I remember I had moved. I moved off the res for a while. Okay, don't judge, but I spent the 7 best years of my life up in Mammoth and Bishop, from 2003 to 2010. And when I was getting ready to move back, I started going to these jams in the valley at a place called Magruder's. It's a house, but it's some of the heaviest musicians alive that go there.
Right.
And if you're going to go to Magruder's living room to play, you bring your A game. And I showed up there once, and here's Ronnie on the drums. He's setting up his drums. Dude, it was a big reunion. How you been? Who you playing with these days? Oh, well, I'm, Frank Stallone. And, So I asked him how the gig was, how they treat you. He goes, he's a great guy to work for. It's a fun gig, the music's good, the players are good. And so a couple of years went by.
Wow.
And you called me one day. Said, hey, Byron, man, Frank's going to be looking for a guitar player. You want me to toss your name in the hat? And I said, sure. So that wound up me and you and I think it was Baba Elefante on bass initially, right?
Yep.
And Jonathan Hughes on keys and as MD. And Frank, who's a legit guy, man, musically. He's a great songwriter, great singer, great performer, great storyteller, and a solid guy to work for. tour, really. We did a hit in Florida, a fly date in Florida for the opening of Pawn TV show. I don't know if I can say the name or what, but
it was a TV show.
the celebrity. All his gigs are like celebrity studded.
Yeah.
You know, the whole crowd is celebrity because, you know, Stallone. Then we went to China. You and I got to ride in a motorcade together.
Okay.
Like rock stars, y'all, you know, and that was fun. And then after that, we did the Jerry Salas thing, right? The Gino Vanelli tribute, which was a blast. That was with Bob Luna on keys and Larry Antonino on bass. The four of us, we've just wound up together as a 4-piece rhythm unit on a ton of gigs. And I don't even know what they all are, but we just always really gel.
That's right.
You know, you and Larry and me are just a great trio. And of course, anything Bob Luna's on is going to be great. You know, he's a keyboard player's keyboard player.
Byron, I want to go back to the beginning. Like when you first came to California, you came from where?
I was born here.
You were born here?
Yeah.
Okay. And was it Northern California?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. I came to LA in '79, East Bay.
East Bay.
Raider Nation, y'all.
All right.
Let me hear it, Raider Nation.
Oh,
All right.
that's where the funk.
There's a Raiders shirt sitting over here. So I knew someone was going to make some noise.
That's where the funk be born.
That's right, man.
That's right.
TOP are my boys. That's Tower of Power to the uninitiate.
Oh, power. True funk.
Yeah, Sly Stone.
Did you know
is from
Sly
my
Stone,
hometown,
Sly and
and,
Family Stone, Cold Blood?
East Bay Grease, Cold Blood.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of proud funk there. A lot of incredible music in the Bay, man.
Yeah. Santana? Yeah.
I don't know how many times I saw Santana. He was on every concert bill every weekend, everywhere in the Bay. I think that was the busiest band in my teens.
Yeah.
And I must have watched 50 live performance hours of Carlos playing, you know.
But did you see them? You saw them before Neil Schon joined? Or was Neil?
No, Journey.
Because Neil was only like 17 or
okay,
16.
so here's the thing,
14,
man.
I don't know how old.
Journey, yeah, I was about the time I started legally driving. Journey's first album came out. Now, you all think of Journey probably as a pop band, you know, an incredibly nice singer and great iconic writing and hits and all of that. But their first album was instrumental fusion. Mostly. It wasn't all instrumental. Greg Rowley did some singing.
Great singing.
But it was like spacey rock fusion, and it was superb with Ainsley on drums, right? Ainsley Dunbar and Ross Valley on bass. Superb album, Journey's first album. If you can, you should pick that up. And I saw them play around the Bay. They were on every ticket that Santana was on.
That's right.
You know.
Okay.
So
where was Herbie at the time? Herbie Herbert, was he managing them too?
I have no idea.
At the time, or was it after? Because I know
that was above my pay
Herbie
grade
saying,
at the time.
you guys got to get a hit, some kind of hit, because the fusion stuff wasn't really making it.
I've never seen a band go through such an abrupt about face in musical direction as when they added a singer and started, you know, City Lights was the first song I heard.
It's just called Lights, yeah.
Yeah, Lights. And I was actually driving across the San Rafael Bridge when it came on the radio.
Oh, wow.
I thought,
great
song. This is going to be a massive hit. And that guy's pipes, my God.
What a great song.
That sounds like Neil Schon, who is this? And DJ comes on and says his journey. He's like, what? I almost wrecked my car. You know? How can that be?
You were there in the beginning.
I was there, man.
San Francisco, and then you came to LA.
Yeah, well, not directly. There's this rhythm to life for most people in the developed world of birth, then school, then work, then death. I recognized this rhythm when I was in my first couple of years of high school. And I thought, you know what? That's malarkey. you know, I'm going to take a couple of years between high school and higher education and get my yayas out when I'm still young enough to make it make sense and, you know, rubber enough to bounce. And so I did. I spent a year in Tahoe and a year in San Diego.
Okay, Tahoe.
And then I came to LA. I was a teenager at the time. So, you know, I was cooking and playing on the weekends. Some surprisingly good players in Tahoe.
Okay.
I got into Grove. I came down to LA because I was going to go to school at Berkeley, you know, in Boston. And I heard about the Dick Grove music workshops. And I thought, yeah, I don't know. It sounds kind of backwater, you know, Dick Grove music workshops. And I sent away for the catalog, and I saw people who were teaching there in the class size. And I came down and I met Dick Grove, and Sammy Nestico was teaching there. Russ Tuttle was staff guitarist at Columbia. He was in charge of instrumental studies. Lalo Schifrin was a regular guy there. Henry Mancini. You know, these are royalty names.
Okay,
you know?
so like Sammy Nestico, I don't know if you were on gig with us, but he did some arranging for Frank Stallone's couple, I think one or two records.
Yeah, I had Sammy.
And he came to one of our shows
every week in front of the chalkboard, and I was in the front row, man. He taught orchestration. So
great guy, Frank Sinatra. Who else did he?
Well, Sammy was like the top arranger in the country for
TV
a lot of his career.
Movies, TV shows, big artists, big giant artists.
Yeah. I got out of school, able to compose and arrange and orchestrate any style for any instrumentation for anybody on demand and compose, and proceeded to get into cover bands and play bad 1980s pop hits to drunk people in bars.
Oh, yeah.
Full time, begging for time off for several years. And it was the most glorious waste of time of my entire career.
Yeah, I understand.
But I survived. Clambering up out of the nightclub scene took a long time. John Pena was a big part of that. You know, John he opened some doors for me. He recommended me to the Wally Rays, playing with Walfredo and Danny.
Walfredo Reyes played with.
Yeah,
he's with Chicago now, but before that he was.
That was an intense rhythm
Santana.
section. Being in a rhythm section with Walfredo and Danny Reyes, those guys are not quite human. And then I wound up touring with Emmanuel, with Danny on percussion. Anyway, yeah, climbing up out of the nightclub scene took years, you know, because anytime a gig fell through, you got to go to the next available gig. And if all your connections and all people are familiar with you in a certain scene, then that's where you're going to throw your fishing lines. That's where you're going to get your work. Yeah. So, you know, from nightclub band to nightclub band to nightclub band, it just went on and on. Yeah. And getting out of it was not easy, but I did. I haven't been in a nightclub band for, I don't know. I haven't really done it this century much. I guess I did in Mammoth a little bit, but it was all fun.
Yeah.
You know, I had my own guys, the cream of the local guys, and we'd play fusion. In nightclubs. It wasn't top 40 at all. It wasn't a cover thing. Barry Coughing is a songwriter buddy of mine that I met through a drummer named Gary Ponder. You know Gary?
Of course.
I got to tell the story. I know a lot of drummers are watching this. So you're going to appreciate this story. So I'm talking to Gary. Now, Gary Ponder is one of the most hyped up guys you're ever going to meet. He talks like this, about 220 words a minute all the time. He's on the, you know, everything's funny and, you know, lots of profanity and everything, but he's funny and he's engaging and he's just hyped up all the time. That's what Gary's like, right? And we're talking on the phone, and he's always got, you know, drummers, man, you always got a practice pad on your knee, right? He's got one of those straps you strap on, you know. This is going on in the background the whole time he's talking to me. So I don't know, man. Anyway, this guy says to me, you know, flamadiddles, paradiddles, 16th, 30-second triplets, all this stuff, perfectly executed. It just went on and on and on. 10 minutes. This went on. I'm listening to his, you know, stick work. And finally, he's in the middle of a sentence, you know. So anyway, yeah, damn it. I said, what? I'm never going to get my feet together. The whole time, kid you not, he had been sitting at his practice pad kit talking to me on the phone with no sticks, and I've been listening to his feet the whole time. He's a beast, man. But anyway, he introduced me to Barry Coughing, and Barry is two things. He's a hit songwriter. He's had 2 #1 hits. The other thing is he is the smartest guy I've ever met about the music industry. Anytime he's going to open his mouth about the business of music, you would do well to listen to Barry coughing. And he's also a way cool guy, and I kind of became his go-to guy for, anything fretted instruments. And that started leading to good things. Once he got his first #1 hit, he got way busy. And suddenly I was doing all this film and TV and record work and stuff with him. So that was kind of a turning point too, because that got leveraged into other things, it opened other doors. And it wasn't too long after that I finally started taking production seriously and started stepping into the role that I had been trained for back in my 20s. Composing, arranging, producing is where it's really at. I'll say this, for any musician watching this, study composing and arranging, even if you're just an instrumentalist. If you really want to bring a lot to the table as a drummer, bass player, guitarist, keyboardist, or flautist, it doesn't matter. If you are a composer or arranger, if you've got that training, you're going to be worth exponentially more to whoever hires you because you understand the context of what's happening. You're going to be able to do what you're there to do. You'll have the perspective of your function viewed from the conductor's podium or the control booth or the composer's chair. It's the best thing I ever did for myself as a guitarist, was becoming a composer, arranger, orchestrator.
And I think that makes you play different. You play different.
Of course it does.
Because you're sensitive to all the other instruments in the band.
Of course it does, yeah.
And it's the best thing that I ever did.
Yeah.
Was, like you said, it never stopped learning.
No.
You're watching the Ronnie Ciago Show, and we'll be right back.
Is your business lost in the desert? Tired of dull billboards? Want your business to shine? Visit amgbillboards.com. Take your advertising to the next level. amgbillboards.com.
Take your brand national with Rockefellas TV and AMG Outdoor Advertising. It's easier than you think. Join the thousands of advertisers who have built their businesses reaching America's most influential audiences. Be creative. We can help. Rockefellas TV and AMG Outdoor Advertising starts here. Advertise with us today.
Time to get your rock on with Rockefellas TV. You can now watch Rockefellas TV on any smart TV and smart devices. Rockefellas TV is now on Apple and even Apple TV, Android and Google Play stores, Samsung Smart TV and even LG TV, Roku TVs and devices, Amazon App Store, Fire Stick and even Amazon TVs, Google TV and all smart TVs. Simply go to your smart device app store and download Rockefellas TV. For further information about Rockefellas TV and smart device apps, please go to rtvapp.com or rockefellastv.com. Rockefellas TV. Get your rock on.
You wrote a book.
So I got signed to a book deal to write what ostensibly sounded like they were suggesting an autobiography. In my mind, I thought, well, okay, but I'm not a celebrity. You know, whatever game I've got, I'm not a household name. And who's going to buy, the autobiography of who the hell is Byron Fry? So I suggested that I write a book that is using my life experiences and roughly following my timeline as a means of delivering how-tos and how-not-tos about approaching life in the music industry or, well, here, I've got it. Hey, look, there's a copy of it right here.
Tricky.
So this is The Noise Letting, Hijinks, Hard Knocks, and Wisdom from Life Inside the Music Industry. Whatever you do or don't know about being a musician, should I read the blurb?
Yes.
Okay. This no-holds-barred tour through the hilarious and brutal realities, the B is missing, brutal realities, of life inside the music industry is as informative as it is entertaining. Written for musicians and general public alike, Byron Fry's story imparts hard-learned, hard-hitting truths from his wild ride through life as a musical pinball. Well, other kinds of pinballs too. I was a rock climber for a while, and there was a mountain biking accident that almost killed me, but never mind. His journey is
we want to talk about that.
I don't know if there's time. His journey is a dizzying study of how many hats one person can wear, and he places each of them on your head. Incredible stories and adventures range through dozens of strikingly different musical disciplines and worlds, delivering priceless tips and perspectives from every strata of the food chain. From playing the seediest dives and living on potato buds to riding in motorcades and working with multi-Grammy-winning artists alongside world-famous musicians like Ronnie. Byron's bumpy trajectory navigates musical training, poverty, alcoholism, life-changing injuries, and relationships, a beautiful collision with fatherhood and validation. The story is one of friendship, healing, adaptation, love, and the most important thing for any musician, an unflinching, sardonic sense of humor.
And there's some people that endorsed that book, didn't they?
Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of,
Yeah, give me some of those.
This book is essential for artists of any stage of their careers. Whether you're an industry veteran or a newcomer, this frank examination of the music world's funny yet brutal realities offers valuable insights and plenty of entertainment. Byron Fry's journey reveals unfiltered, powerful truths about life as a musician, making it a crucial read for musicians and non-musicians alike. From Erica Corhonen, Byron is the real deal. He's a multi-platinum producer and burning guitar player in Scandinavia. He's like, rock. Very good. Byron is the real deal. Every single time we've met or talked, I seem to learn something from him. He's always able to open a door that I've not seen. Read this book and see for yourself. And then Frank is somewhere here, I think. We don't need to do this, do we?
Well, just to promote the book, I wanted to let the people know that there are some known artists that endorsing the book, saying, "Yeah, this is a great book. You should read it."
Mark Varney, the producer of Alan Holdsworth and Franklin Ballet and Sean Lane and stuff, he did Truth in Shredding.
Oh, sure.
And Centrifugal Funk. Byron has performed and recorded with many name musicians and produced hundreds of songs in his home studio. He even composed and conducted a 3-movement symphony. I trust that many aspiring musicians will reap huge benefits from these valuable insights gleaned from a long and successful musical career. So there you have it.
And
Eat your vegetables and read this book.
And thank you for adding. I have I'm in a few chapters in this book as well.
Yeah, he's in there.
And
you can't eat as much of the same mud as somebody as I have with this guy here, and not have him be a big part of your story.
So what do you have to add, Byron?
Well, I'd be remiss not to point out the existence of my 2 solo albums as an instrumental fusion guy. I should point out that unlike the Zen Jam that Ronnie and I are known for, and some of which has been recorded here today, the albums are actually composed and arranged and produced I was on Steve Vai's digital label for a while with those albums, and got the attention of Mark Varney, whose assessment of my chops is very flattering and with which I categorically disagree, but I will take the comps nonetheless. And one of those albums is called Combustible, Byron Fry Combustible. It's on, I think, only Amazon, but it might be on Apple. And then the other is Explosive, which is on iTunes, Apple Music, and Amazon.
That's the one that I played on, right? Explosive?
Explosive, yeah. You're on a track I did, that remake of Black Dog.
We did a version of Zeppelin's Black Dog.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
cool.
Murdered that thing, man. You did a fill in the middle of that thing, like down the toms and what? You're under arrest. You can't do that.
So let's talk about the future.
These are grim times in a lot of ways, but music is always going to be. Well, that's actually the sentence. Music is always going to be. And when humankind has lost everything, we'll sing and we'll dance. When we're shivering on a battlefield after World War III and have nothing but our asses and hopefully a source of water, we will sing and we'll drum on something and we'll dance. That's never going to change. So don't ever listen to anybody who's telling you that music doesn't have value, or you don't have value as a musician, because your voice is absolutely vital. I literally see music as the only thing that can bring humanity together into one international body. If we ever do achieve world peace, music's going to play a very big part of that. It's the international language that everybody understands. If you're a musician watching this, or you're eyeing a life in music, know that you don't get into it for the money. If you have a choice, don't do it. If you feel like you can be a day without music, without dying, then go be a doctor or a lawyer or a truck driver or an underwater basket weaver. Music is for people who will die if they do anything else with their lives. That's what a musician is. There's some weird genetic thing that tweaks our brains. And, like I say in the book, hopefully science will figure it out someday. But in the meantime, our loved ones can only look on and tisk and, try and put up with us. But it's not understood scientifically or medically. It is some kind of psychosis. Why else would we be doing this to ourselves, man, in our livelihoods? But music has very real value, and musicians have very real value. Artists in general have historically, itinerantly, occupied the bottom tiers of societies everywhere in the world throughout human history. That will only change if we make it change. And so I want to make sure everybody knows that you are what you negotiate. And as long as you're willing to have people tell you that you're not worth more than this dollar amount, as long as you're not willing to say no, you're going to occupy that lower tier. And my life started improving when I started saying no. And when I started comparing myself to at least a goddamn plumber, take that to heart. And if you're a loved one of a musician, you have my every condolence. Good luck, and try to understand it. But we can't help it. We are what we are. We were born, and this is what we are. There's no two ways about it. I've got a course out on arranging called The Arranger's Toolbox, if you're interested. The website is learn.arrangerstoolbox.com. It's done wonderful things for everybody who takes it. It's streamable, it's online, it's on a secure platform. You can go through it at your own pace. Costs about 10 or 20% of what it's worth, because I would love to live in a world where every musician has this skill set. And I put it together in a way that any musician can understand it. There's standard notation, so if you read, sure, that works great, but there's also MIDI scroll graphics, and there's audio examples of every lesson, and I speak in the plainest nuts and bolts terms possible. So people who don't read, the lay musician, the aspiring musician who hasn't had a lot of formal training yet, everybody understands it. Everybody gets how these devices actually work intrinsically from the course. And I'm really quite proud of that.
That's on the website?
There's a link to that from byronfry.com.
That's what I mean.
I am available for your albums. I specialize, I have a good home studio. It's optimized for all the fretted instruments that I play, and that includes a lot of oddball things, electric sitars and dobros, and I've got a couple of baritones, and I don't know how many solid bodies. I've got a few steel acoustics and nylon acoustics. Hit me up. You can contact me through byronfry.com. That's BYRONFRY.com. There's also a link there to the Arranger's Toolbox.
It's been an honor and a blessing, and thank you for being on my show.
Thanks for having me.
And
man.
I look forward to playing more together and doing what we do. And our friendship is everlasting. Bless you, brother.
Right back at you, brother.
Thank you.